Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Grumble, and today we are starting a new series, Deathloop Lore. I wanted to delve deeper into the backstories of our esteemed visionaries, and so I did. In this series, each week I'll give you the inside scoop on their characters, tidbits, and trivia you might have missed. Obviously, be aware that these videos are filled with spoilers for the game's critical path, as well as side quests. Let's go! This first video is about Aleksis Dorsey. Oh, Aleksis. Aleksis Dorsey. Where do I start? Aleksis is the AEON program's primary financial backer, as he never grows tired of reminding literally everybody. Together with Igor Serling, he founded the program and then proceeded to bleed every single one of the other backers dry for it. Some background. The AEON program has a loose hierarchy, though it's not a big plot point. There are the founders, also called the visionaries. Then there's the backers, who brought the coin necessary to fund the whole of the expedition, and then the affiliates. Affiliates are essentially all of the remaining Eternalists, foot soldiers if you will. They were heavily recruited from prison populations in several unsavory deals with wardens. Aleksis first recruited Frank Spicer into the program, who headed up recruitment along with Harriet Morse. More on that in their respective videos. Aleksis is Blackreef's biggest, most obnoxious asshole. And that is saying something, considering he's up against Igor Serling and Charlie fucking Montague. Aleksis carnally desires Wenji. Wenji thinks of him as a yapping runt. And in true frat bro billionaire fashion, Aleksis sends her creep douchebag minicom messages all day. He even broadcasts a party invitation across the entire island to try and get her to come to Dorsey Manor in the evening. One of Colt's objectives in breaking the loop is to fake an invitation to get her there, promising her something that she actually wants. And no, that's not Alexis's meat. But even when he succeeds, Wenji keeps apart from most of the other guests, and especially from Aleksis. Aleksis' original messages range from annoying to pretty gross. And that's just those during the loop. Imagine having to deal with him every day before first day back when time was still running linear. Ugh. Coincidentally, for millionaires, money accumulates faster than they can spend it. So if your Tinder date tries to tell you that really Aleksis worked hard for the money, so we should cut him some slack, run. Run, Tiffany. Aleksis is a caricature, certainly larger than life. He's also a direct reference to real-life farmer bro Martin Shkreli, who cornered the market on insulin and then hiked the price up so high people could no longer afford life-saving medicine. Aleksis did the same, and he brags about it relentlessly. In this world's case, he bought up the market on an antiparasitic medication and then drove up the price up by 300%. Some of the lore dotted around Blackreef reveals that this antiparasitic medication isn't treatment for some super rare disease. It was needed in a pandemic-like event, or at least something as common and even more deadly than diabetes. Writing from a self-proclaimed ex-Eternalist hints at the scale of how many people have either been directly affected by this shitbag disease or lost a loved one to it. This note also speaks of how people were being shut up in their homes, implying both devastating physical symptoms and necessary quarantine. This paints a nasty picture of the world that the members of the Loop left behind to go to Blackreef. He calls it splitting at the seams. And Colt says in the marketing spiel he doesn't remember recording, with the state of the world today, eons are only hope for the future. Aleksis is rich, obnoxious, egomaniacal. His weapons, fittingly, carry the vampire perk, leeching blood from enemies after they've been hit. He inherited millions from his family, and even the legal fees and class action lawsuits after deaths related to his little profiteering habit weren't enough to put a dent into how fast the money rolled in from the profits. At his big party at Dorsey Manor in the evening, the theme is being an offensive bastard, something that Aleksis has turned into a personality. Up on stage, Eternalists are encouraged to share how they display petty assholery. I'll smoke anywhere, while you're eating your breakfast, I'll smoke at the doctor's office. Aleksis concerted the Devouring of the Lambs party to find his equals. However, the Eternalists generally can't quite compare to Aleksis' single-handed destruction of disease treatment. Ultimately, the party reveals Aleksis' toothlessness. His big gimmick, the meat grinder, does not actually yield human meat, as bodies disintegrate immediately upon looping back to morning. In a world where people refuse to wear masks in a respiratory disease pandemic and proudly add Grandma Killer to their Twitter bio, a lot of the Eternalists' douchebaggery seems familiar, even if they cannot quite compare in scale to the effects of Aleksis' actions. Aleksis cultivates an image of the bad boy, yet wants to be universally loved, deep-seated insecurity at odds with pretend coolness and control. Basically, Aleksis wants to be Breaking Bad, but ends up being that janky video game adaptation of Scarface. Juliana has to rewrite his 60-second minute interview almost entirely, save for his proclamation, "Everybody loves me," which runs counter particularly to his power trip assertion that upon walking into any room, he likes to let people know that he owns them and they answer to him. Aleksis is uncooperative and not just contrarian, but actively fucking useless, inconsiderate in extremis. He is entirely unconcerned with what the people around him or even the AEON program need. Aleksis also had Fia import all the candy you see on the island. And no, candy is not candy. Candy is drugs. Hope that cleared that up. Aleksis has no friends. He's just rich. His hedonism lends itself well to giant parties where other people can drink all of his booze, and that's it. He's obsessed with alpha wolf iconography, but fundamentally misunderstands that being a pack leader isn't about domination. It's about being, well, a leader. Essentially, a good and caring parent. Aleksis has no leadership skills. He's never even seen throughout the day, only opening the doors to Dorsey Manor at night to invite, read, beg for, adoration of his followers. While he's not the only visionary to sequester himself away for most of the day, save for one period of time, it's on brand for Aleksis to leave his appearance for the evening, the grand finale of the day. It must chafe to share the spotlight with Frank's fireworks.
What? Is that? Oh shit!
At the party, everybody has to wear a wolf mask, but otherwise the Eternalists all just wear the same basic getup throughout the day. This was done in an effort to avoid having visibly distinct factions among the Eternalists/affiliates. On Black Reef, Aleksis brings the drugs and the music, but not much else. As befits his hedonistic nature, his party often just devolves into a massive orgy, even though fraternization is supposed to be contained to the AEON Coital Center. More on that in another video. His relationships with other visionaries are strained, if anything. He annoys everyone, especially the women. He's a sleazy, innuendo-slinging creep. Most of the other founders just disregard or ignore him, especially Frank, Harriet, Fia, and Charlie. Colt and Juliana too, and the latter is the only one who can get him to leave the caps lock alone and shut him down, which makes him out to be a wee bit of a submissive streak. Fittingly, his motherland spy code name is Puppy. Igor is awkward with Aleksis because Aleksis is a stereotypical cool kid and Igor is anything but. Wenji would like to hoist Aleksis into the sun using an orbital slingshot maneuver, and honestly, I would personally foot the bill on the research needed to make that happen. Aleksis joined AEON because he believed he'd finally met his equals. He thinks they can relate to his thirst for domination and rule breaking. The inscription on his statue goes as follows: "The alpha wolf's delightful anomaly. The true wolf isn't the one that never breaks. It's the one that is unbroken, time and time again." I guess Aleksis thought that was deep. I simply can't see past how he had the statue hauled up the hill and then had a few female, of course, Eternalists polish it to a high shine all day prior to first day. Aleksis' slab is carnesis, which he uses to torture Eternalists. The line is that he likes playing with his meat. Some more delightful trivia. Aleksis loves chocolate beer, hates it when it's bottled, and will only drink it from a tap. He composes a new track each loop whilst on his throne, the loo. Aleksis likes to make dirty references to Frank and Colt's relationship in the group chat, because of course he does. Also, just for a bit of fun, I think this is one of the 7 strictures from Dishonored that describes Aleksis really well. Restrict the rampant hunger, or the intemperate will rise up among you like a virulent swarm, devouring everything wherever they go, even filth. For what goes into your body poisons you, and if you eat filth, then filth is what you will vomit up. Surely the glutton will sell away birthright, family, and friends for a morsel of meat. And that, as they say, is that.
I have toxic
Oh my god.
Okay, what
What
is
an
it?
asshole. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and leave a comment on your way out. It's really much appreciated. If you want to support my channel, you can check out my Patreon at patreon.com/AnnaMarabella or my Ko-fi page at kofi.com/grumble. You can either donate or become a monthly subscriber, receiving access to my writing and videos before everyone else, including the inside track about what I'm working on and what's coming up in March and April. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss what's next in this series. Also, check out my Deathloop videos, both live streams and Let's Play episodes, my still ongoing Dishonored 2 Let's Play, and more lore videos. All of these playlists are on screen now. Thank you so much for watching, and have a fulfilling day.